Do you know what? I said I wouldn't do this, but my head's kettle today. And I said I won't mention the manager again because it feels like a weekly occurrence of is he the guy, isn't the guy? Can I make 20 excuses for him? Can I be lacking of perspective and be a little bit too harsh and everyone else is rubbish? And you've basically got the usual, which is quite common in United fan base. Maybe because of how big it is, or maybe because we've been so bad. All it causes is like that internalized infighting. But for me, like, I'm starting to get really, really frustrated. And when I do this, it's not just looking at United at 8th in the table and there's still a heavy possibility that United could finish top 6. Because you're looking at the league, you're looking at parity, you're looking at the competitiveness of it. Rivals are dropping points. It's got this kind of championship feel to it where the floor of the league is probably as high as it's ever been, but the ceiling's lowered. So you've got everyone condensed. It's almost like a bungalow. So there's opportunity there. And I'm actually really annoyed that United have ruined the last 18 months to not be able to capitalise on the league for where it's at. Because I think with United's current squad, I don't care if you believe it or not, because I know a lot of you have been gaslighted into thinking the squad is much worse than it is. But I think a competent manager with a competent board that just recruited one midfielder in the summer, United should be banking for top 4 this season. Especially with no Europe, which is a huge advantage on our rivals. The likes of Villa, Chelsea, Tottenham. You can put Newcastle in the mix. You can even put Palace in the mix. All playing European football. All balancing it with squads that aren't even as deep as ours. I'm not going to lie, that is a factual. You might question some of the quality in terms of the bench depth, etc. But when you're looking at other teams that we're competing against, when you kind of make it relative by talking about the fact that they've actually got to balance the fact that we've got European football as well, it's not good enough. There's no excuses that I can make for United with a level of competency over the last 12 or 18 months to be thereabouts for top 4, even top 3. I'm going to go as far as say that. Because I still believe United aren't meant to be as far away from the top as they are. If there's one club in England that can fast track a rebuild, it's ours. And a lot of you have been gaslighted into believing that isn't the case. It's just that we've got absolute clowns, it seems, running the club for the last 15 years. We've got INEOS in, and I swear to God, they don't seem like they're much better. And that's what irks me. I like to do a lot of perspective thinking. Like, I like to look forward. I like to make projections. It helps me deal with the now. But you know what? Every time I do that, it sickens me. Because I know what we're doing right now is wasting time. Time waits for no man. Even if you're standing still, you're getting left behind. If you're not moving forward, then you're just standing still. And we talked about it for ages. Like, United have been they call us sleeping giants, right? You got to be careful that doesn't become a coma that we don't wake up from. And we kind of gave INEOS a little bit of leeway. He said the club's a mess from top to bottom. They've got a big job on their hands. But you know what's actually funny about it? If there is a club that you wanted to come into and almost make a statement, it's a club of Manchester United stature with the resources that we possess. You got a blank canvas. It's not easy. It's easy to make corrections by just doing the basics that United have been getting wrong under the Glazers' tutelage for 10, 15 years. All INEOS had to do really is come in and just do normal basic things that all the rest of the clubs, even the likes of Brighton and Bournemouth, have been doing for years. And then they're getting lauded with, they're changing things, football minds. So I just think we jumped the gun on them. And out of all this, when you're talking about sacking dinner ladies, the cost cutting, the worst thing that it seems that they have done and the most egregious thing that I think they have done is the appointment of Ruben Amorim. Because it was nonsensical at the time, and we're over 12 months in and it's looking even worse. Because realistically, we looked at it and thought, it's November, Ten Hag sacked. You still got quite a long season left. And I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, when we sacked Ten Hag, we were only like 3 or 4 points off top 4 at the time. So it wasn't like the season was done and dusted. It wasn't like there was lost hope, because everyone likes to do a little bit of revisionism in like the Amorim in cult and camp. Is they're looking at it thinking, they're act as if he came in and we were like 20th in the league, bottom, with no hope, and like the rest of the season was just a write-off, and he's got a system that suits none of the squad, none of the personnel, was going to require an extensive rebuild in terms of its composition and heavy investment. Red flag number 1. When you're appointing a manager to a team, you can see why Dan Ashworth had issues with the direction that INEOS wanted to go in. All Amorim did was come in and have results so bad that by the time it was January, February, the season looked hopeless. And then people then make the excuse of, we shut down in the league and we gave up on the league form, so the league form didn't matter over the past 10 games because it was focused on the Europa League, which we then lost to Spurs, by the way, in the final, which for United manager, that is a sackable offence in Europa League. Because if everything that you was doing and you were basically tanking the league form, you had to win that game. And what we did was tactically and performancely put in one of the worst performances you could do in a final for a big club, playing against a small club, by the way. And then what do? You go into the summer and you spend 200 million on a forward line. Neglect the midfield again. But you invest. Even Patrick Dorgu, you throw him in. Around 30 million in January. Left wing back. Which is looking like porous recruitment again, because he still looks extremely raw and unrefined, playing in a position that doesn't suit him. And I think United need to stay away from buying up-and-coming potential stars or youth players with potential, because the club isn't a breeding ground for it. We develop no one. Nobody comes to this club and improves. Especially when you appoint managers that don't improve players either. Don't optimise players. Don't platform them correctly. The list goes on. But I couldn't believe it. Rob Edwards of the ESPN come out to talk with an article saying, we're asking a win later squad to win now. What the fuck does a win later squad mean? And what does that look like? That's such a flowery, like baseless kind of phrase, win later squad. How do you buy Mbumo and Cunha for over £100 million, at peak age, by the way, and call it a win later squad? How do you call a Bruno Casemiro 30 plus midfield pivot with the prestige and the notoriety that they both have in the game? How is that a win later squad? I've never seen a leash longer, the level of excuse making, goalpost moving, and an erosion of standards ever for a protection of a manager that doesn't deserve it, quite frankly. It's almost like it's like a free hit when you become manager of United now, because we've had so many failings of managers over the past 10, 15 years that each manager that comes in has less expectation, bigger leash, because the fans are so desperate for it to work. Sir Alex Fergusonism, it's almost like Fergieism, of the fact that we had a manager for 27 years, was basically all our dads, that we become wedded to that idea that we don't chop and change managers and we want one to be here for 10, 15 years. And that's not really what happens in modern football now. And I think some fans are struggling with the chop and changing. So each manager that comes in now, each one that we appoint, it's like they give more and more and more leeway each time. He's a fucking jolly up for a gaffer now. Even the next manager after Amorim, because Amorim's not going to be here for the long run. I'm just going to put that out here now. I know the ceiling's low. I'm very unconvinced by him. And even wins against the likes of Wolves and Bournemouth doesn't really change that, because he's shown me over the past 12 months that any periods that we do a win match or two, just fall stones. No sustainability. No longevity to it. Hopeless. And when I look at the league, when I look at the results, when I look at the parity, all it does is piss me off even more. It feels like a window opportunity that we might miss. And by the time that United are back there again being competent, the rest of the league would have sorted themselves out and the top clubs would have worked it out. You need to strike when the kettle's hot. And United are getting caught cold. INEOS, Jason Wilcox, by the way, with that shameless victory lap he did around Carrington, paraded himself with a smug smile on his face, talking about how after that 3-game win streak, I'm expecting radio silence now. All we're going to get is media briefs from political journals you got in your pocket, like Rob Dawson. They're briefs them from the club. They're briefs from INEOS. Throw some excuses out there. But as soon as we win a couple of games, I'm going to show my face front and centre and give it the big I am. I see straight through it. Can't fool me. And I'm not being disingenuous. I feel like the people that are hyper positive about Amorim and INEOS, they're the ones that are being disingenuous and delusional, because I've said it time and time again. All their thought processes are based on fallacies and hypotheticals. The people aren't convinced by the gaffer, based off hard facts and evidence. But we're the disingenuous ones. Just sick to my stomach the direction the club's going in. INEOS had a difficult situation, I guess, to come into, but I got my eye on them. Likes of Wilcox, Berrada, they've got their basically reputation and jobs wedded to the appointment of Amorim. So they're going to stretch it as much as they can to try and make it work. Try and look like geniuses in the end. Also knowing that if you fail at United in such a big role, it might be the biggest job you ever get. Pockets won't be as full elsewhere. It's a nasty sport, this, you know. God only knows the amount of politics involved. But if I just stick to the facts, I just knew, even when we won a couple of games, we draw, even after the Palace one, I was like, I was almost convinced we'd drop points against West Ham and Wolves, and I thought Wolves would be the most difficult game. Away from home, very physical, powerful, quick side. Just low on confidence, massively underperforming their XG. United are going to fuck around and go over there and give them their first win of the season. I'm sick. Not seeing players perform, not seeing players improve, not seeing players platform correctly. I'm seeing excuses, poor defensively, not great going forward. Recruitment's lackluster. Yagate, Dorgu, Sesko still raw. Every other day, United have appointed someone new in the board. Scattergun, it seems. Just hoping something sticks. Just hoping something works. It's time for people to start making their money. Start earning it. Because I don't want to see my club die. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. And the people that are making excuses, being delusional, Pollyanna syndrome, being hyper positive, shutting down, silencing, abusing people that are having reservations because they want what's best for the club. I'm sick of it. What we all have in common is wanting this club to be good again. Sometimes you need to wake up and smell the coffee. But if I see another media brief like that, my head's going to go. Because that West Ham game, man. Should have seen the amount I drank on Friday. Just need to forget about it. Because I knew what it's going to be a sign of things to come. Inconsistencies going throughout the league, but that's not how I analyse it. I'm not doing externalised analysis. I'm analysing Manchester United in a vacuum. What are our issues? What are we doing wrongly? What can we do better? How good actually are we? How sustainable are we? I'm looking at us. I'm not looking at other rivals dropping points. I'm not looking at, everyone else is shit, so why, so us being shit's okay. That seems to be what the excuse is. That's not how I work. I threw it out there on Twitter. It was like, if our rivals lose 5 games in a row, we lose 4 and win 1. We've gained 3 points on our rivals on the points table. But you're going to turn around and say, oh, United are playing well, we're improving. Oh, look, we're still 5th or 4th in the table. That's one way you can look at it, but that's just results-based. And even then, when you're judging a project, when you're judging a performance level, you got to think to yourself, how good is this? How good does it project forward? Simple as. But needs to be better. But remember to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Hype the video. Help me out. I'm trying to get out of the hood. But I'll be back with a review a little bit later as well. But yeah, let me know what you think. See you later.